Chapter 2. As soon as she gets home, Jewel quickly tucked inside her room and blacked out all the possible interruption she would have to deal with for the rest of the night. The apartment is empty and she was alone. Just like she wanted. Just like she promised herself earlier in the car. She finds herself in her bedroom, sitting on its edge. The bed's pink coveralls reacting to her weight. She didn't bother to change into something for sleeping. She knows too well she has too much to ponder with today's sudden blast of the past. From her bag, she pulled out the same set of letters. The same nostalgic feeling washed over her once again, as she runs her fingers through its rough edges. And knowing it is all written by him, by Philip, makes her swoon. The past is here, in her hands, all written to memory by a man she barely had to forget over the years. A reminder of what could have been if she took things differently. She inhales a long breath and turned the flimsy pages after one another until she turned into the part left unread. The letter dates back 10 years ago. She feels the dryness of her throat as Philip's neat penmanship swam over her eyes. Dear you, I'm giving all that I have to say with this one. I am giving all that my heart wants to say with this one. I like you. I guess you wouldn't know that, for I have made no effort to let you know that I do. Yet, I feel like there's so much more to say. I have liked you ever since, in all the short time we've been together, even though God knows how short they may be. I like you with all my late night thoughts, for all time's sake. I really like you, I really do. But I have to move on. This is so painful, that being silent is the only option I have. I wanted you to be a part of my world, and I want to share every hopes and future dreams that I've yet to realize once I'm with you. The mere thought of you not having a care for me is too much to handle. As for my heart, I will always and ardently like you. Sincerely, me. 1:21 a.m. Dear you, I can't sleep, so I'm writing this. As always, you are the only one that occupies my late night thoughts, and what better else to do than write them down? I guess you're taking the time off from those long intern office hours, getting you closer to your graduation. Congratulations. I wish you all the best in wherever field your fate brings you, even if the romantic side of it never brings you to me. I have been reading these days, just reading and watching movies as a way to remind myself they're not at all far from reality and not really closer to it at the same time. I always find the time to write to you, and little by little, I could feel that through this, I could feel that I can let you go. I know you won't be reading these letters anytime soon. Maybe by the time before we part ways, if I could be courageous enough to give this to you, you finally could. You'll be gone away soon on those school hallways. I won't be hearing your voice asking me if I have a class up next, and how I always eager to know if you have yours. You'll soon be out there. You'll have the gist of what real life actually feels outside the university. There will be pain, joy, happiness, and sadness, and frustrations. But I know you'll surpass them all. Not because I believe in you, but because I know God loves you more than ever. I still write to you. I will. And you know better than these pages will be more than what I anticipated. Sincerely, me. Dear you, I talked to some of my friends earlier this day and asked them what would be their opinion if they are the ones in my situation. Well, ardently in love with you. Some of them say that I should give it a try, and maybe otherwise you on your own have found a way to like me back. They say that I should take a risk and give it all to fate, if it approves of you and me. But most of them say that I should walk away and just move on with what I have and turn my attention to another. As if that would be easy. Well, their opinions somehow help. Letting truth comes out before imagination gets in. I think they're right, and somehow wrong. For I felt it was wrong, walking away without saying what I really feel. I have written that I like you for how many times here. But what about saying it out loud where you can hear it? That would make me die in nervousness, you see? All my poems written in that 5 months are still all about you. I wonder how would you feel then when you finally read them? Would you be confused because my words are too deep? Sometimes I can't even understand them, even though I wrote them. Or would you be flattered because they convey little beautiful things about you? I wouldn't know unless you'll tell me so. Whatever I'll have to go on with all these advices, I'll always remember what a friend told me once. It is still in your hands whether to keep that heart of yours beating for someone. That's the advice. I guess he's right. It is still within my control, my power. But a broken heart is a whole different conversation. I'll sleep with a song that best reminds me of you. Someday we'll know. Because maybe someday we'll know why I wasn't meant for you. Sincerely, me. Dear you, I watched an underrated Korean drama last night, and it is indeed a delightful one to watch. It is a love story, and it goes along with the fact that there are many trials that have come upon the couple, Kenneth and Angela. But at the end, their love for each other remains the same, so much as that sweet as any love there is. They fight a lot at times, mostly especially when they have to be true with what they feel towards one another. Watching them across the scene reminds me of you. I would love to have that kind of fight with you, the one that will both find a way to hug each other at the end. And a breakup will not be the choice there is. As if, and excuse my handwriting because I was laughing when I was writing this exact part. As if you could be mine to possibly have that fight with you, or to have you beside me every time I wanted you to, every time I'll miss you. I know I am talking nonsense here, but what can I do? This is the only way for me to get over these emotions that was my only bridge to you. I hope I would not regret that I'm not telling everything that I feel. With all of me, the obvious fact that I like you passionately. I'll find my way to the next letter, with your smile playing back in my reverie. I will write until I'm over you. Sincerely, me. Dear you, I always believe that things happen for a reason. And the reason I am writing here is my way of silently letting you go. I do realize that the world is seemingly unfair. It never gives you who your heart desires. I wonder how your Sunday went, or did you get in time to attend the church? I know you would. You once told me you always make sure you had time for it. My Sunday went the usual, and I hover around, not knowing this must be the lowest week of my month. I am full of thoughts of the future, of the uncertain, of the certain, of the unknown. What will happen tomorrow? What if, for a split second, I wouldn't have a care in the world and actually tell you that I like you? This is hard for me. The very same with how I started this all. With the intention of telling you all what I had and telling you what you need to know. The moon shines brightly tonight. I wonder if you are admiring its beauty too. At times, when I feel like forgetting the world, I would just stare at the moon, and despite how lonely it may seem, just hovering and shining among the universe. I know someone, somewhere, a person admires it. And that someone, in the presence of it, is never alone anymore. I'll type myself to sleep tonight. And of course, with thoughts of you. Sincerely, me. Dear you, I had tons of maybe this time of day. Maybe if I hadn't met you back to that day in October, maybe these letters wouldn't exist. Maybe if you haven't sat next to me, I wouldn't know how sweet your voice is. Maybe I wouldn't have to rehear it play within my ears every night. Maybe if you haven't asked me if I were the last in line, I wouldn't remember how great your eyes are, even though how little they can be. Maybe if you haven't written your name on the back of my notebook, maybe I would have lived all these months wondering over the rhythm of your name. Maybe if you didn't cast that magical smile of yours, maybe I wouldn't have to treasure something my mind will always remember. I tell you, this is a river of maybe. Maybe by through this, I'll understand the enormousness of the word maybe. Maybe if you haven't sent me that message on chat, maybe I wouldn't have to know how a simple chat could mean something so wonderful. Maybe if you only knew that I already liked you at that instant, maybe things will be different. Maybe things have changed. Maybe I would never have to write this. And maybe you would never message me again. Maybe if I haven't met you that day, maybe I wouldn't have you as one of the reasons why I smile from time to time. Maybe if you knew I am like this, a hopeless romantic, maybe you'll like me back. Or maybe not. Maybe you'll be surprised if I confess my fondness towards you. Maybe I'll hope and you'll give me something to hope for, to look forward. Maybe you'll accept me if I'll just be true to myself, to who I really am. Maybe there's a chance we'll be together, and maybe we'll be happy together. Maybe I'll write you love letters every day we're beside each other. Maybe you'll read each and every one of them with a blush on your cheek. Maybe you'll realize I would cross any line just to be on the same wavelength as you. Maybe I would know how to be not lonely, how to be not negative over random things. Maybe I know how it feels to have someone as precious as you. Maybe we'll live happily ever after. Maybe we'll represent the word forever. But the word maybe itself slapped me as I am wondering how this all could possibly be. Maybe if you knew, maybe you'll never look at my messages once again. Maybe you'll go out of your way just to avoid me, in old terms. Maybe you'll never look at me the same way you did before. Maybe unconsciously, you'll break my heart and maybe you'll never care. And you'll never know how I am keeping it as a secret. The agony of the thought. I would end this with also a maybe. Maybe if I didn't have the courage to say hello to you, maybe I wouldn't have to know how it feels to let go of something that has never been mine, or of something that I never had. Sincerely, me. Dear you, I stayed in the school for almost 12 hours now, and hours passed through me like a new chapter to a story, slowly the pages turning. But I've read the same books over and over, smiled to the same group of people earlier, yet still, your face was the one I wished to be smiling right at me rather than the afternoon sunlight. I've borrowed the romance book earlier in the library, and it greatly reminded me of you. You once told me over the chat that you yourself had your own copy of The Piece by Nicholas Sparks. You even offered to let me borrow it and told me I'll just have a word with you and you'll be the one to give it to me personally in school. How I would love that to happen. But I don't know what's with me, and I rejected your kind offer. Maybe it has to do with the story you told me about the book itself. When I asked you way back that night if it would be okay for you if I could borrow the book, you somehow end up telling me it was a gift given to you by your previous boyfriend, some years ago in time for your birthday. You told me it has a sentimental value over you, and how you would like to keep it for yourself only. But you've been the kindest. You still ask me when I will slip it out from your shelves, and that it would be totally fine with you. Yet still, here I am. I didn't take the chance. I guess something clicked in my mind, and I have imagined how your face had been when you received the gift. Maybe your eyes did shine, and a great part of your teeth showed up in a wide smile. That is something I usually see in your pictures, and also something I rarely see in person. But the mere thought of having that same book that reminds you of your past within my hands barely stopped me from asking it so. I would not want a piece of him that probably has hurt you badly emotionally. I may not know what his reasons are. I may not know what exactly happened. But I do want to tell you that whatever his story may be, it is not a rightful act to betray someone as you who's been loyal, so loving. I wouldn't want to have beside my table his reminder of you, and I would not want to read every page of it knowing he didn't give you value as the value of the book. It may sound rude, but you see, I don't care. Because it's the truth. He never saw your worth as much as I clearly see it. So I think I might be happy with my own copy of the book. And I guess I'll be happy with it for me for a week. I'll finish it because you told me it's a beautiful one, and I'll reach that last page. Just give me time. Still, you wouldn't know that these letters exist. You'll never wonder. You'll have no thoughts, memories to look after. Now I wonder what our world will be like or will be when your hands finally skim down the pages of this. Maybe at the time, there will be a chance for you to love me, and maybe at the time, I won't be the same person anymore. Sincerely, me. Dear you, Do you remember that day sometime in October? It was afternoon. When you approached me just to say hi and ask me if I had already enrolled. I guess you did, for I really did. Your eyes were bright alive back then, getting my senses into an alluring stop. I had introduced you to my friend Larry, and he said that he was glad to finally meet you. Unknown to you, I've filled him with stories of you and what I feel for you. You swiftly bid me goodbye, and I waved back a hand. You disappeared before I wanted you to. We hopped in to watch the sunset at a nearby seaside later that day. And okay, we've talked about you. It was sort of a dreamlike conversation, I tell you, for we happened to lie down at a fine grass meters away from the ocean, and we faced the clouds above. Amidst all of the stuff in school, I still come to think of you, most especially when Larry asked for more. What if she feels the same way about you? He asked, tilting his head up, facing the fading clouds. Would you take a chance on it? I don't know, I answered, but I would totally say I would, for I would really love to. But the rejection reaches my mind before even the sweet thought invades me. A no is a no, and I will never know. Why don't you just confess to her? He prompted. And maybe you'll see you'll have a hell of a chance. I'd be happy for you, you know. I found a way to suppress him a joke, and he laughed, and that the conversation ran its course around. But inside, there's millions probabilities playing in my head. Yet I'm still afraid to try. It's been 16 days since we last talked, and I think it's an achievement, all the more an agony. I guess I'm a paradox. But whatever. I still see you as a dream come true. Sincerely, me. Dear you, I have seen you a few times in school these days. It's one of those rare days seeing you around rather than in my mind. It's a pleasure to see you right before my eyes and not just with the pictures that adorn your timeline. It's one of those rainy days, once we crossed paths again in the hallway, and you told me you were going home. I wish I had talked more to you, just for a little bit more. I finished the book, and as you said it would be, it turned out to be a very beautiful piece of literature. You were never wrong about it, and the chapters themselves, and I was never wrong to trust your insights about them, and my insights about you. Sincerely, me.